Dragon Age The Veilguard is the newest game in the Dragon Age series, and while it brings in a few old faces, a lot of the characters are brand new. You will face dangers, exciting adventures, new places to visit, and of course, teammates who you can pursue a romance with. In this video, I will be ranking these teammates based on my very scientific criteria, and that criteria includes character depth. Does the character have unique flaws and motivations? Emotional depth. Does the romance fit well and flow with the plot? Does the romance feel meaningful and deep? And relationship pacing. Does the relationship feel forced, or does it flow and evolve naturally with the plot of the story? Each of these criteria is worth 5 points, with 15 points possible for each romance option. Also, I will note, every romance option can be romanced by a player character of any gender. Let's get into it. Up first is Lucanis Dellamorte. Lucanis is an experienced assassin associated with the Antivan Crows and known as the Demon of Virantium. He is a companion whose reputation certainly precedes him. For character depth, I gave Lucanis a 3 out of 5. Lucanis is very focused on his family and his work. He can be very reserved, making him feel like a character who is especially difficult to connect with. That isn't helped by the fact that he's possessed by a demon known as Spite. This all can almost make him feel impenetrable, but with time and effort, you do get to know other sides of his personality. For example, his love for coffee.
My head's clear, though I would kill for a decent cup of coffee.
Still, he's a very brooding character, and some players really may not connect with that. For emotional depth, I gave this romance a 3 out of 5. Rook has an uphill battle trying to get close to Lucanis, not just because of the demon that he's possessed by, but also because he's very reserved and hesitant. Navigating his trauma and building trust with him is a large part of his romance, so there is certainly emotional work that goes into it, and it could potentially feel rewarding for a player to see the characters growing closer. Lucanis has a sweet side, even cooking for Rook, but it does take a lot of time to get to that point. Overall though, this romance is very slow to develop, emotionally and really in all ways. For the pacing of this romance, I gave it a 3 out of 5. As I've said, the pacing of this relationship is slow. It isn't a bad thing necessarily, but I think it can feel a little bit underwhelming. Despite getting close to each other, there still isn't a lot there, and it feels like too slow and too limited to really call it even a slow burn romance. Overall, I gave this romance a 9 out of 15. Next up is Lace Harding. Lace is one of the returning characters from Dragon Age Inquisition, and I think for a lot of players, Lace felt like the one that got away in that game because she was not technically a romance option there. Lace is humorous, intelligent, and in Dragon Age The Veilguard, we get to know her a lot better than we have before. For character depth, I gave Lace a 5 out of 5. Lace is very down to earth with a realistic perspective on things that I think a lot of players really respect about her. Still, she finds ways to bring light and humor to situations. Having her as an actual companion, you'll get to know her a lot better here than in Dragon Age Inquisition. She's got a more vulnerable and anxious side, searching for support and validation while also fearing rejection from those around her. She's a well-written, likable, and relatable character. For the emotional depth of this romance, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Lace and Rook are kind of awkward about discussing their feelings, and even though it's done in a cute way that is reminiscent of young love, it can really slow down the pace of this relationship. Neither wants to put the other on the spot, neither wants to move too fast or risk their friendship. It's understandable stuff, but if you want this relationship to work, you might find yourself waiting quite a bit for the payoff. What's true though, through the awkwardness and cringy flirtation, is that there is a lot of care between Rook and Lace. Check-ins on how each other is doing, thoughtful moments taken with each other. Emotionally, they feel very in tune, and it does make the relationship fun to watch develop. For the pacing of this relationship, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I said it developed slowly, and I was not kidding. Not only are Lace and Rook bad at making the first move, but there are also some major physical things that they have to overcome before they can really get to know each other better. Lace newly acquires magical abilities that she is trying to understand throughout the game, and she and Rook learn that her emotions are tied to her magic, meaning that when she gets the butterflies in her stomach around Rook, her magic is kind of going wild. It takes time, patience, and trust building to get things to a point where the two feel comfortable moving forwards.
But the encouragement was the thing. Well, I did it once. What's important is whether I can do it again. Either way, I think I'll need more practice with this.
It happens, it just takes time. Overall, I gave this romance a 13 out of 15. Next up is Bellara Lutare. Bellara is an elven adventurer and historian associated with the Veil Jumpers. Her lighthearted, optimistic personality is a welcome addition to the team as they take on their very heavy and intense mission.
Tell me you read the rest of the paper too?
Oh, yes. Sometimes they have these stories, serials. They're thrilling, except they come out in pieces. I only see a few papers a year and never know how the stories end.
For character depth, I gave Bellara a 5 out of 5. Bellara is one of the most optimistic, lighthearted companions on your team, which could make her feel naive, except that she is well developed with a more heavy backstory involving loss, family, and trauma. This combination makes her a complex character who feels interesting to get to know better. Bellara is a character who plays as incredibly resilient, having been able to use her humor as a way to shelter herself from some of the more painful and dangerous things in her life and in the world around her. She is also very intelligent and at times a bit awkward in conversation, but for the most part, this is all handled in a charming way. For the emotional depth of this romance, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Bellara is a bit awkward at first when met with flirtatious dialogue, but she quickly opens up and shows a more complicated side. Her romance is cute and funny at times, with her writing fan fiction from serials that Neve gave her, as well as heavier moments where she opens up about her experiences and traumas that she has faced. Bellara is pretty inexperienced in romantic relationships. She lets Rook know that they're really only her second relationship, so there are definitely some growing pains that can come with that. For the pacing of this relationship, I gave it a 4 out of 5. The pacing of Bellara's romance is solid, although because of her inexperience in relationships, the romance can move more slowly than with some of the other teammates. It's all understandable and it's done in a thoughtful way, but characters who want a relationship that moves quickly with a partner who is very direct may feel a bit underwhelmed with this one. It's cute and sweet, but it's all going to come down to player preference. Overall, I gave this romance a 13 out of 15. Next up is Taash. Taash is a Qunari warrior and dragon hunter who is associated with the Lords of Fortune. Taash's love for adventuring and at times very blunt personality endear them to the team. For character depth, I gave Taash a 4 out of 5. Taash definitely starts out as one of the more immature teammates. They can be a bit combative and standoffish, but that changes quite a bit throughout the course of the game. Taash is open to learning from their teammates and putting in work to temper some of their internal pressure that they put on themselves. As the story proceeds, Taash has more and more moments of vulnerability with the team and with Rook, and ends the game on a new page. Taash navigates their past, their relationship with their mother, and their identity throughout the story.
It's not magic. My mother says the Qunari used to be closer to dragons. Something in our blood.
The Antam called you a Dari.
Yeah. Old Qunari word for fire breather. A few like me are born every generation. My mother thinks Adari were meant for something special. She's always looking through the old texts for clues.
And their self-acceptance is a big part of their growth. Still, Taash communicates in a very direct and at times harsh manner, which may bother some players. For emotional depth, I gave this romance a 5 out of 5. Taash and Rook build trust, allowing them to open up to and support each other. Taash's journey to understand their identity includes navigating their relationship with their mother, coming to terms with the way that their mother has treated them, and embracing who they are. Taash is able to confide in Rook, who proves to be a supportive and caring partner. Rook encourages Taash to embrace who they are and do what makes them happy. I will say their relationship feels a bit more heated than some other relationships in the game. I think Taash and Rook are more upfront with each other about their feelings. The relationship feels like it does have more of a physical focus, but there are these moments that do build a lot on the emotional depth of their romance. With time, Taash shows a lot of insight, including into better understanding their temper and channeling it in healthy ways. Overall, there is a lot of growth and support in this relationship. For the pacing of this romance, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Taash and Rook take a little bit of time to get on the same page, but once they do, they are very much in sync. Taash clearly doesn't feel comfortable opening up at first, but that changes as they and Rook build trust with each other. Not only do they find ways to poke fun at each other, but they also support each other through life-changing experiences. Overall, I gave this romance a 13 out of 15. Next, let's talk about Davrin. Davrin is a Grey Warden and the guardian of a young griffin named Asan.
Griffins don't trust easily. Lancet and Remy had to work to win them over. They said a warden and a griffin have to move as one. Think as one. They call it Turlum. Sort of unity.
Davrin is a thoughtful and deep companion. For character depth, I gave Davrin a 4 out of 5. Davrin can come off initially as stubborn and a bit stuck in his ways. Whether approaching a romantic relationship or a friendship, with emotional investment it becomes apparent that Davrin is open to feedback and changing his own perspectives and approaches to things. His open-mindedness, especially in the way that he trains Asan, shows a lot of space for growth of his character. As a partner, he is willing to be a real partner in that sense, by communicating and sharing. For the emotional depth of this romance, I gave it a 5 out of 5. Davrin's romance feels well-rounded. It is humorous at times, while also loaded with moments of vulnerability. Davrin and Rook feel like they have a lot of chemistry. Their back-and-forth dialogue is sweet and a lot of fun, and the dynamic of helping Davrin raise Asan certainly adds depth to the relationship. For the pacing of this romance, I gave it a 5 out of 5. When getting to know Davrin, Rook gets to experience a new side of him, engaging in activities that are separate from the main mission. It makes the relationship feel refreshing at times, a respite from the intensity of the plot, which is very well done. Davrin's romance progresses in a way that feels very natural, with plenty of fun flirtation between Rook and Davrin, as well as moments of seriousness and depth. Overall, I gave this romance a 14 out of 15. Next up, let's talk about Neve Gallus. Neve is a powerful mage and private investigator whose no-nonsense approach is a welcome addition to the group as they take on the massive challenges that face them. For character depth, I gave Neve a 5 out of 5. Neve is externally level-headed and cynical, but underneath that, if you put in the work to get to know her better, there is a lot more to her. Neve is incredibly loyal, sticking up for her companions and the community of Minrathous. Break through her exterior and you'll come to know a much softer and warmer side of her. I would compare her a little bit in this sense to a character like Panam or Shadowheart, where they initially are a bit dry and even a little bit cold when you're getting to know them, but with time you get to see a much more layered character. For the emotional depth of this romance, I gave it a 5 out of 5. The romance between Rook and Neve is a mixture of flirtation, adventure, and vulnerable moments where they can open up to each other. As I said, Neve can come off as a bit cold initially, but as you get to know her better, you understand why she's guarded and why she's not fast to trust.
People will tell you Minrathous is broken, and they're right. It's corrupt, petty. Saving the world won't fix it. I take the small wins, Rook. Pals serving fish another day, getting past the next scrape alive. Sometimes you're lucky. Sometimes you get more. But the tables always turn. It's better if you know it's coming.
You work to earn her trust and she does the same to earn yours. This couple feels like they're on the same page, like they're enjoying getting to know each other while also being realistic about what they're up against. For the pacing of this romance, I gave it a 5 out of 5. The relationship between Rook and Neve feels really well paced. There are conversations where they get to know each other better, explore Minrathous, with Rook having an opportunity to be on Neve's turf and see her experience of things. In a lot of ways, other than all of the intense fantasy nightmare stuff that's surrounding them, this does progress a lot like relationships often do. Excitement, hesitation. To me, overall, this is a very well done video game romance. Overall, I gave this romance a 15 out of 15. Finally, we have Emmrich Volkarin. Emmrich is a necromancer and scholar associated with the Mornwatch. He is accompanied by his assistant, Manfred. Emmrich's often gentle personality and thoughtful approach to matters make him a reassuring companion to have.
Perhaps I can help you.
With what? Relaxing?
Yes, I can teach you some breathing exercises, the ones we show initiates.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you.
Of course. We must look out for one another.
For character depth, I gave Emmrich a 5 out of 5. Emmrich is sort of a quirky guy, but that's honestly a big part of his charm. He speaks quickly and thoughtfully, and he doesn't shy away from approaching heavy topics like death, but in a very realistic and calm way. I think Emmrich's compassion and care for others, particularly the dead, is something that players really enjoy about him, in addition to his knack for being just a bit dramatic and always very well put together. And on top of all of that, Emmrich has many moments of depth where he faces his own fears. He feels very well-rounded, interesting, and charming. For the emotional depth of this romance, I gave it a 5 out of 5. Emmrich carries himself in a thoughtful and distinguished way, and the same can be said for his approach to romance. He is flirtatious in a very reserved way, which is charming and just feels so fitting for him and his personality. Emmrich is facing the decision to become a lich, which could have a major impact on his relationship with Rook, and he approaches Rook about the topic, wanting to know their perspective and wanting to be on the same page as them. Emmrich brings Rook on thoughtful, flirtatious night walks at cemeteries, tying his necromancy in with his pursuit of Rook, and there are a lot of quiet moments in this romance that feel full of reflection and sweetness. Emmrich is a true romantic in his own way, even raising deceased cooks to make a nice dinner for Rook. For the pacing of this romance, I gave it a 5 out of 5. This romance is well paced, with moments of flirtation as well as peaceful conversation. Emmrich also clearly thinks a lot about Rook and their well-being, wanting to get to know them better and thinking of the amount of stress that is on them. Their romance feels mature, sweet, and romantic. The pacing flows well throughout the overall story of the game. Overall, I gave this romance a 15 out of 15. So there you have it. Those are my rankings of the romance options in Dragon Age The Veilguard. What are your thoughts? Who is your favorite romance option in this game? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.